Hello, I'm Andrew Wood, and I'm a planning consultant working for CPRE, the Countryside Charity, mainly in Yorkshire, but also across the country. This is a short guide to the government's planning white paper. It's rather ironic that the government's proposed planning reforms claim to be about making planning clear and more accessible, yet you need a strong dose of planning expertise and an even stronger supply of caffeine to be able to make full sense of the proposals. With this in mind, here is a short, easy guide to what it's all about to help you respond and to make your voice heard. We've identified that the white paper proposes 8 major changes to how planning works. Number 1. Usually, the most challenging and the most contested issues for local plans are how much new housing to plan for. At the moment, your council uses national and local data combined with its own vision for the area to propose a figure, and you are consulted on it. In the new system, central government will dictate the number and it will be legally binding. Neither you nor your local authority will have a say in it. In many areas, this will mean big changes to the numbers, up in some places and down in others. This is because the government wants England to build 300,000 homes every year, which is substantially more than at the moment, and it has worked out a mathematical formula to distribute this across the country. But a formula is no substitute for local knowledge. Number 2. At the moment, we have a discretionary planning system, which means every development proposal is assessed on its own merits. You have 2 bites at the cherry to influence that. Firstly, by commenting on the policies and site allocations in the local plan, and secondly, by commenting on the planning application. In the new system, a new style local plan will divide all land into 3 zones: growth, renewal, or protection. Growth basically means large-scale, mainly greenfield schemes like urban extensions. Renewal means reusing brownfield and underused sites, and protection means green belt, national parks, conservation areas, and so on. In growth and renewal areas, the principle of development will automatically be granted, while in the protected zone, the normal planning application process is retained. It's important to stress that protected doesn't mean no development, it just means no automatic planning permission. Number 3. It doesn't end here, because the new style local plans won't contain the development management policies that applications are judged against. These will all be centralised within the National Planning Policy Framework. So unlike the current system, you will have no opportunity whatsoever to influence the policies against which planning applications are assessed. And this is true for all 3 zones, including the protected zone. Number 4. You may have seen coverage in the press about how the proposals aim to improve the design standards and give you say in drawing up local design codes. Well, that might be a positive move, and we all know that the design standards need to improve. But you will have very little say about the principle of a development, nor about its details. The local design code is really your main chance to have some influence. If there's no local design code in place, then the national one will apply, and you won't have influenced that. Number 5. And here's where it gets really sticky, because you really need to influence the local plan and the local design code. But government wants to halve the time it takes to prepare a local plan. And yes, you've guessed it, that only means 1 or best 2 6-week slots to have your say, and that'll be it for another 5 years. So if you happened to be busy or away or ill during those 6 weeks, or you just missed the tweet about it, well, come back in 5 years. Now those are the main changes, but there are a few others that are also important and could make it even harder for local communities to be involved and to get the things they need, like decent quality, affordable homes and the schools, parks and medical facilities that make places we want to live in. Number 6. The worst and most damaging of these is the scheme for permitted development. This was originally intended to allow you to add a conservatory or outbuilding to your home without planning permission. It's now been extended so you can convert a multi-storey office building or a shop or a restaurant into flats without minimum space standards and without consultation. Almost every professional body in buildings, housing and environment has been outspoken about the terrible consequences of this, but the government has carried on regardless, and the design codes wouldn't have any effect on these types of developments either. Number 7. The White Paper proposes to do away with 2 existing systems for securing contributions from developers to affordable housing and community infrastructure. These are Section 106 and the Community Infrastructure Levy. And it wants to bring in a new centrally operated infrastructure levy. This might be positive because the current systems are clunky and complicated, but there are 2 risks. One, it will raise more money in areas where land values are high, and this could limit what's available for places needing regeneration, such as former mining towns. 2, the government is determined to prioritise so-called first homes, subsidised homes to buy, over other types of affordables like social rent and shared ownership. This risks, in effect, that the contributions from developers will go into subsidising homes to buy, and this could make it even harder than ever to provide decent homes for those people who will never be able to buy one. Number 8. And then there's neighbourhood planning. The White Paper has warm words about retaining and encouraging neighbourhood plans, but there's a real sting in the tail, because the new style local plans with the mandatory top-down housing requirements and no development management policies may make existing neighbourhood plans out of date. If this happened, there would be a terrible loss of trust in planning amongst the many thousands of people across the country who have worked so hard on a voluntary basis to bring their community's aspirations into the planning process. Not to mention people's enthusiasm for local climate action, which barely gets a look in the proposals. So those are the issues. What can you do about it? Well, you can and should respond to the White Paper consultation. There are 26 questions. Some of them are easy enough to answer. Others don't make much sense unless you're a planning nerd like me. 1 or 2 of them make no sense at all. CPRE is here to help you to put in a good response, and we're offering a couple of webinars you can register for over the next few weeks, starting in early September. The consultation runs until the 29th of October, so this should give enough time to help you. The webinars are free of charge, but we are a charity and we'd really appreciate it if you could make a donation or sign up to be a member of CPRE to give us your support. Even if you don't agree with our take on the proposals, it's still important to make your voice heard. It's now or never. Also, contacting your local MP and local councillors to make sure they understand your concerns is a really important thing to do, and we hope that this video will help you to do just that. Thank you very much.